This is China's prediction that the war in Ukraine will end in the summer of 2023 with a victory for Russia. According to simulations, peace plan reveals China playing active role in Ukraine crisis based on calculations and predictions. The peace proposal submitted by China to resolve the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is based on the assumptions of Beijing's belief in Moscow's victory in the summer of 2022, reports Nikkei Asia. China estimates that Russia will win the conflict in a few months. The peace plan reveals that China is playing an active role based on calculations and predictions, Japanese observers say. Earlier, analysts of the Chinese AMS Academy presented a report according to which the hostilities in Ukraine will end in the summer of 2023 with a victory for Russia. Experts believe that both the Russians and Ukrainian economies will be exhausted by the protracted conflict and will not be able to continue it. According to the publication, the Chinese have calculated that the $45 billion aid package approved by the U.S. for Ukraine in December of 2022 will run out by the summer of 2023. And China's peace plan is based on this calculation. Simulation and China and Russian victory. The Academy of Military Sciences reports directly to the Chinese military. The AMS regularly issues recommendations and reports to the Central Military Commission of the Communist Party, the highest decision-making body for China's armed forces. A cabinet-level official heads the academy. In December, AMS completed a simulation of the conflict in Ukraine, resulting in a surprising finding. According to sources close to the Chinese government, the war will come to an end around the summer of 2023, according to the simulation, with Russia emerging victorious. Based on the forecast, China's peace plan was submitted. As for the U.S. and aid to Ukraine, China believes that the Republicans, who now hold the majority of the House of Representatives, are skeptical of the generous aid given to Ukraine. Quote, "I don't know what will happen with U.S. aid from the fall," and quote, a senior official in Japan's Prime Minister's office said, according to the Nikkei report. The U.S. provides half of the aid Ukraine receives. The argument that ceasefire talks will begin before the end of aid is not without merit. After calculating the AMS prediction, Beijing drafted a peace proposal in time for the one-year anniversary of the war. It aims to achieve 3 goals, including restoring relations with Europe. The Chinese hot air balloon incident has caused deeper rifts with China-U.S. relations. Japan has aligned itself with the U.S. on the Taiwan issue, but Beijing still sees an opportunity in Europe. Although European countries are extending arms aid to Ukraine, some, such as Germany, France, and others, are calling for an immediate ceasefire. Beijing believes Europe is still open to direct investment and technology transfers to China, and improved relations with the region will lead to economic recovery. The post-war era. Given this, many in the Chinese government are calling for Beijing to get involved before ceasefire talks begin. The second objective is to mainly maintain friendly relations with Ukraine, through which it had purchased a Soviet-built aircraft carrier. It's worth noting that when most Western countries criticized China for violating human rights, Ukraine kept a fishy silence. Quote, "We have Russia, but we don't want to lose Ukraine," unquote, a Chinese government source told the publication. It is recalled that the peace plan includes a provision for economic rehabilitation, indicating that China is already considering providing financial assistance to Kiev. The ultimate desired goal is for China to play a leading role in achieving a ceasefire. Xi Jinping's visit. Chinese President Xi Jinping plans to visit Moscow and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. The source familiar with the Chinese diplomacy said the visit to Russia cannot be too early or too late. The best case scenario for Xi Jinping would be for Moscow and Kiev to begin negotiations after the Chinese leader unfolds all aspects of the peace plan to Putin. And this would make China a real ceasefire interlocutor and put it in an advantageous position to bring the countries of the global south to its side in the long and arduous confrontations with the US. Putin's letter to Xi Jinping. Since his sincere congratulations to dear friend Xi Jinping from the Russian President Vladimir Putin announced his election for the third consecutive time as president of China on Friday, the 10th of today, that is, 10th of March 2023, the decision of the National People's Congress is a recognition of your services as head of state and the broad support for the path you are taking to ensure China's further socioeconomic development and protect the nation's interests in the international arena. Moscow and Beijing will continue to coordinate joint efforts to address important issues. We will continue to coordinate our joint work to address the biggest issues on the regional and global agenda, end quote, Putin said in his message, expressing confidence that he and Xi Jinping would be able to strengthen bilateral cooperation in various fields. Russia, he says, highly values your personal contribution to strengthening the relations of comprehensive partnership and strategic interaction between our countries. I'm confident that by working together we will ensure the further development of the fruitful Russian-Chinese cooperation in various fields, end quote, Putin points out, who wishes every success to Xi Jinping. And this is on Banking News Greece. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Let's see what happens with this. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.